75 years ago today, the Korean War erupted and a nation split. To this day, Korea remains divided at a 38 parallel line. Most people say it was the war that broke the country. But what if the deeper fracture happened earlier? Today we ask, did the Korean War truly split the nation in half? Or did it only cement a separation that already existed? August 1945. Japan surrenders. Korea is free but in chaos. Two US colonels, Dean Rusk and Charles Bonesteel, have hours to decide a line for American occupation. They pick the 38th parallel using a map. Why? It splits the country and puts Seoul under US control. They admit it wasn't based on culture or terrain, it was a practical, hurried choice. Remarkably, the Soviets agreed. By early August, Soviet troops enter the north. By early September, US troops occupy the south. By 1946, a border checkpoint exists. Crossing is illegal. The line is arbitrary, but it becomes real. In 1948, two governments emerge. Kim Il-sung in the north, Syngman Rhee in the south. Each claims the right to rule the whole peninsula. Armies form. Ideology deepens the divide. So when a war erupts in 1950, the division wasn't new, it was already in place. Built by foreign powers, made official by law and enforced by soldiers. June 25, 1950. The North crosses that border. Tanks roll, artillery opens up. Soldiers on the other side shoot back. Families who once lived together now fight each other. This wasn't spontaneous. Kim Il-sung asked Stalin in early 1949 to allow an attack. Stalin waited until China fell to communism and nuclear weapons appeared. Then, in June 1950, war began. Suddenly, neighbors and even siblings were on opposite sides. Some wore American uniforms, others wore Soviet gear. Civilians suffered. In the south, anti-communist violence led to mass killings like the Bodo League massacres. In the north, similarly brutal actions took place. US troops also committed the No Gun Rhee massacre, killing many refugees. Imagine two brothers sharing a meal, then sharing bullets. That's what happened in villages all over Korea. Each side believed it was liberating Korea, but they destroyed families and communities. The war didn't just split lines, it split hearts. At dawn on June 25, North Korea fired artillery. Tanks and infantry crossed the 38th parallel. That was the first real action. The UN responded fast. The Soviet Union wasn't present at the vote, so the UN passed resolutions 82 and 83. The US sent troops. By July 7, UN command formed. 20 other nations joined. Why did they act so quickly? They feared that if Korea fell to communism, Japan would be next. Scenes of global reach and strategy emerged. US General MacArthur launched the Incheon landing in September. Seoul was retaken and UN forces pushed north. But in November, Chinese troops entered the conflict, pushing forces south again. The line drawn in 1945 became a magnet for global forces. The war didn't create a division, it drew in powers that made it permanent. By 1951, the fighting turned static. Both sides battled for small hills. Control swung rapidly, with lines barely shifting. An estimated 3 million people died. More than half were civilians. South Korea lost hundreds of thousands. North Korea likely 1 million. US losses exceeded 36,000. Other UN forces lost thousands too. North Korea was bombed harder than almost any country. Towns, homes, schools all destroyed by US jets. War crimes happened on both sides. South Korean forces killed civilians suspected of being communist. US troops mistakenly killed refugees at No-Gun-ri. North Korean and Chinese forces also carried out executions. Soldiers wrote letters saying we're freezing, we're terrified, we're waking to gunfire every dawn. They fought for inches of dirt. The war no longer had a goal of winning. It was a struggle to survive. July 27, 1953. Exhaustion wins. Leaders sign an armistice, not a peace treaty, at Panmunjom. That means Korea is still at war. The agreement created the DMZ, a 4-kilometer buffer around that same 38 parallel. Soldiers, fences, mines still block passage. Why not peace? Sungmin Rhee, the South's president, refused to sign. He wanted total war to unify Korea. Mutual distrust was deep. Neither side believed the other side could be trusted. The DMZ became a no man's land, filled with war's ghosts. North Korea even built hidden tunnels. South Korea kept UN troops on guard. Peace didn't happen, the war froze in place. The line from 1945 became fortified. The conflict was still alive, just silent. 75 years have passed, but North and South Korea remain technically at war. The DMZ is calm but tense. Skirmishes occurred in the 1960s and in 2010 over a South Korean ship. Civilians suffered most. Around 700,000 to 1 million South Koreans died. North Korea may have lost over 1 million civilians. Families were separated forever. Many children grew up never knowing their parents. Economically, South Korea rose as an industrial power. North Korea stayed poor and isolated, investing in military instead of people. Psychologically, two nations see different histories, different neighbors. Joint Olympic teams are rare glimmers of unity. Families at reunions cry behind fences. The line drawn quickly in 1945 still shapes lives. The Korean War didn't start the split, it deepened it. And the cost, human, emotional, national, is still being paid. So, did the Korean War split the nation in half? Or did it solidify a fault line already drawn? We have traced that drawn border from a hurried map in 1945, watched how separate governments took root by 1948, and saw how the war turned that line into a blood-stained reality. The conflict didn't launch the division, it cemented it. What followed, the armistice, the DMZ, the decades of military standoffs, only reinforced what was set in motion by geopolitical urgency. Today, two Koreas live as parallel worlds. Separate histories, divided families, and a starkly different future. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again in our next video. Until then, I'm the Chronicler, reminding you to like, subscribe, and remember that history is written in mystery.